Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Deja Vu here, bringing you the second set of this group of death with Varoche right next to me. This is going to be Bisu and Flash on Monte Cristo, the new Night Twilight, I think is what it's called, the tile set with all the blueness everywhere. It's like the Blue Storm tile set. You got the temples in the middle of this map that kind of divided into two distinct pushing patterns. It's a new map, which means no one really knows how to play it properly, which I think will make for some very entertaining games, some very innovative games if either player can come up with something, which Bisu and Flash, if you remember, at a different point in their careers, Flash early on and Bisu just kind of intermittently throughout have been pretty good at coming up with some pretty cool cheeses, so just throwing that out there. So for syncing purposes, here we go, the game is starting and we're looking at all the players and except right there. Okay, so that's for syncing purposes. This is going to be Bisu and Flash. Bisu in the top left in blue, the Protoss, Flash in the bottom right, the red Terran. So why don't you take it, Varoche? What are you looking for this game?
One thing I was looking for before the game that I've actually noticed Flash started doing recently, he measures the position of his keyboard with a ruler. Store and I were talking about that a little while ago, and I just figured I should mention it. These players haven't played as often in their history as Flash and Jaedong have. This is only guys, this is only their 22nd meeting, and currently Flash leads the series 12-9, and it looks like Flash is going for some hardcore cheese. Deja Vu completely calling that. Obviously has some sort of psychological read on Flash. Looks like Flash is going for he's probably going to be BBS, considering he's only sent out one SCV, but already proxying that barracks, and he sent that out. Oh my god, Bisu, Maid of Intellect, is going to scout this unbelievably. He sees it. This is oh my god, and Flash cancels it actually. Flash just completely cancels it and does not look happy, so we might already be able to chalk this game up to Bisu, although not necessarily, but Bisu is going to be at a giant advantage. Wow, how did Bisu know, Deja Vu? Did he have the same Flash brain hacks as you?
Well, my only theory going into this game for cheesing is that I always remember, I will never forget the Bisu cheese, two cheeses actually. One is the patented Bisu cheese where you put your gateways in your opponent's mineral lines that he did against Pakju. That I will never forget. And the other one is what he did on Heartbreak Ridge against, I forget what the Terran was, but the two proxy 2-gate into like Forge Cannon Rush against Terran. And those are the two big cheeses from Bisu that I remember. And so I just thought that maybe he'd come up with something again. And then I remember Flash early on in his career was like kind of a cheesy guy, and he actually took a lot of flack for it. So I was just throwing it out there that maybe one of these guys could actually end up going cheeses. I had no idea I'd actually call it. That's actually kind of cool. But yeah, now Flash is just. It's basically like he took his 4 SCVs, took the time to kill one of them, and then started the game. That's basically what he did. He's that far behind. It's pretty huge right now how far back he is, and he's got a long, tough road to come back.
That's actually a really accurate analogy to almost exactly how far behind he is in this game, sacrificing that super early SCV. And he actually made an engineering bay. Oh, gas steal by Bisu. So he's going to try to force Flash to expand and just try to play an economic game and just be much, much later than Bisu in everything. Flash actually threw down an engineering bay. Oh, and he boots a supply depot, but he puts it in the wrong place. It doesn't actually block the command center. So that was a sweet idea. I mean, if you steal their gas and block their command center, you've kind of like checkmated them into just playing suboptimally. I guess they could take their third base, but that's super risky. And they could bunker rush, but that's not going to work considering how far Flash is behind. That was a great idea by Bisu, unfortunately not working. But his tech is going to be way, way, way ahead of Flash's because he's got his gas and cybernetics core obviously already, but Flash can't get his second stage of tech because he needs 100 gas before he can make a factory. And is he going to do the patented Flash get your natural expansion. Yeah, he's getting his natural expansion's refinery way before his natural expansion finishes, and he's going to get like 7 SCVs, put them all on the gas, and then return 56 gas right as it finishes to get just the tiniest bit, try to catch up the tiniest bit on that gas, but still going to be behind economically, behind in terms of military value. No, he's just going to distance mine gas. This is even worse than I thought. Yeah, he's behind in every way to Bisu right now. Pretty terrible for Flash, but he is Flash. He could come back.
Poor Flash. You almost feel bad watching this. I don't usually root for Terrans, but like this, you just gotta feel bad for Flash. That is just such a terrible start for him. Like, how do you even come
I'd
back?
feel
from that?
worse
Now
if the
Bisu-
pylon was in the right place.
Oh, if that pylon was in the right... Well, I guess if the pylon was in the right place, he'd just build the command center next to it. It would just be a nuisance. He'd just have to lift it right after it builds. It wouldn't be too big, really.
Oh, right. For some reason, I wasn't thinking Terran logic. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But Bisu going for an early robotics facility. Could we be seeing the early speed upgraded Reaver shuttle, or is he just going to play super standard and get those observers to solidify his lead?
I think he's just going to solidify his lead. There's no point for him to go for that. Why be so risky when you can just play standard? Bisu knows he can beat Flash. He's already beaten Flash recently in the Winners League Finals. He beat him on Aztec and to knock KT out and to take the victory. So he knows he can do it, and I don't think he needs to make that kind of a play. In fact, I was actually kind of surprised to see Flash to go with that direct of a cheese, to see the BBS attempt, or whatever, at least a forward Rex attempt. That seemed almost a little over the top to me, but yeah, I don't see Bisu being too cheesy now. I don't see any like DT drops or Reaver. I mean, we might see a Reaver, but I don't think we're going to see a Speed Shuttle Reaver or anything like that. I think he's going to play it relatively straight up. He's just got so many advantages working his way. I could see him just go taking a quick third, and knowing that there's no way that Flash is going to have the gas to macro up a bunch of like tanks or anything. All he needs is Dragoons and some decent building placement with his pylons and stuff, making decent walls, and he'll be able to defend himself from Vulture harass. And there he goes, 3 base on 2, and he can be very, very comfortable. And so I would definitely support him in that sort of a play, and I really think that's what we're going to see pretty soon.
And Bisu's actually building a pylon at the top right base, which is not where Flash would logically take his third, but if Flash were going to try to sneak a third because he's behind and he's desperate and he's kind of in desperation mode to catch up, that's exactly where he tried to be sneaky and put his third. So if he does go for that, that's not going to work at all. Bisu's just playing so solid now. He knows he's pretty much ahead most of the time when he plays StarCraft. So he's so comfortable playing from ahead. Just going to secure this early third base and be on 3 gases to Flash's 2. And there's almost nothing Flash can do to deal with this. He's got 1 tank and a bunker full of Marines, and that consists of his entire army. So Flash is building a command center, but he's not going to be able to sneak it to the top right, and if he goes for the center right, he's not going to have enough troops in all likelihood to be able to properly secure it. So we might just be seeing that command center sit idly in the natural expansion with no place to safely float for a while once it goes up.
Yeah, and that's got to be something to worry about. An observer is in the base, so it's seeing all of this. Bisu's actually going to watch this and be like, there's 2 Goliaths, a tank, and a bunker defending this. I could have just built a shuttle with some zealots in it and won this game. You know, it's there's that few units out on the field for Flash. But I guess Flash kind of thought about that, hence the Goliaths, the anti-Goliath or anti-shuttle Goliaths. So I guess he was kind of anticipating something like that, and I guess, you know, it is what it is, and Bisu just going for that big economic advantage, which he has, and now he's got these goons out there, and really you can't even see Flash pushing out anytime soon. What is he's gonna need vultures with mines, which is gonna be a while before they come up. He's gonna need tank count, which means he's gonna need siege. Like that racks being slowed down, and that gas steal, it's just put him back so far because he just doesn't have all the tech, and just when you think about it, there's just so many things he needs that he doesn't have, and now looks like he's trying to push out here a little bit. An observer is scouting this out, and Bisu's just gonna walk in here, maybe try and pick off a tank. No, he's just gonna sit here and try and delay the third, it looks like, and that command center's scouting for him, but it doesn't look like we have siege yet. Otherwise, I think we'd see at least one of those tanks siege up by now. So I don't think that's completed yet. And yeah, okay, there we go. There's some tanks sieging up, but I still think this is gonna be a while before Flash can even go take his third. He's gonna have to do the slow crawl, and by the time he gets up there, I mean, you could really see if Bisu chooses to, he could really add an influx of troops in there, maybe come in for a flank, and Flash is definitely going to be in a world of hurt if Bisu gets really aggressive here in the next couple minutes as as Flash tries to take this base. He's going to be really vulnerable.
This is probably the first time I've seen a Terran have to do a slow push into his own third base. Usually it's a lot easier to take, and Zealot actually getting up on no tank splashing any other tanks to death. So it looks like maybe, just maybe, Flash is finally going to be able to secure his third base, but not but not less than 2 minutes behind Bisu's third base. I think it actually might be more. And Bisu's economy getting that explosion from the third base, and he's upgraded a Stargate, or he's made a Stargate for Arbiters, and Flash scanning that pretty much immediately after it goes down, but it's not too much of a surprise. Flash going double armory, so despite the fact that he's only on 3 factories, only has 3 factories up, so that's what he's been cutting to try to get everything else caught up, get the third command center and get the double upgrades. It looks like he's going to try to have a small but well upgraded force. But Bisu, meanwhile, taking a 4th base, and again, Flash has so few units that there's absolutely nothing he's going to be able to do to stop this. So he's either going to, well, I'm trying to come up with ideas. He's either going to have to try to take a 4th, try to take the top right himself, but there's a pylon there, so Bisu will know about that. Flash is going to have to get some more factories down and start macroing his heart out and get some lucky engagements and get some little victories. If he can destroy that shuttle, it's a fleet beacon! Oh my god, Deja Vu, it's a fleet beacon. I thought I saw the cybernetics core spinning earlier. I didn't know if I had hallucinated that, but I think he's upgrading +1 weapons for his carriers. Sweet. Or maybe scouts. Let it be scouts, please, Lord, let it be scouts.
Oh my god, if it was scouts, I might actually, I don't even know what I would do. I would just start, like, I would just go nuts if it's scouts, but it's not going to be scouts. It's not. It's going to be carriers. Let's be honest. It's going to be carriers. It's what it's going to be. And I think Bisu's taking the 12 o'clock position, taking more expansions. I think it's just going to be carriers. Don't get too excited. Calm yourself, Deja Vu. Calm yourself a little bit. That would be a little too much for me to handle right now. But I almost think that Bisu's almost like taking it back at Flash. If you remember the show match that I mean, no one takes a show match seriously, but Flash and Bisu, when they did their show match, where they took each other's races, Flash beat Bisu using carriers. So I almost think that it's almost like a smack back in your face by Bisu. I'm gonna use carriers right back at you. I don't know if that's true or not, but I just think that that's kind of a funny little aside there that Bisu would try doing that right back at Flash. And he's actually, you know, he can do whatever he wants in this position because Flash still only has, what, did he throw up a couple more factories? He's still working off, like, no factories, though. Either way, he still has almost no units, not enough to push out, not enough to stop himself from getting flanked or anything like that. And he hasn't even tried Vulture harassment. I'm actually really shocked by this. We do have a couple dropships out, so maybe that will start the harassment. But we haven't seen any harassment attempts from Flash, and that is just awfully surprising to me. And it looks like that's just a pylon at the 12 o'clock, not actually a base and a couple tanks and Goliaths and etc. Gonna blow that up before the probe can build anything. So that's just a little nuisance. Gonna delay Bisu from getting his 5th base. Oh darn, no 5th base. So I mean, Bisu's still really comfortable, and I don't know if Flash has scanned that Stargate. He scanned it once, and I think he saw both the Templar Archives and the Stargate. So he's got to be thinking Arbiters, right? If you're a Terran player and you see the Stargate and the Templar Archives, you've got to think that Arbiters are coming your way, right? So I think that it's possible that Flash has no idea that carriers are coming his way. What do you think? I mean, just thinking about it from a Terran's perspective, I would not be surprised if he has no idea that carriers are heading his way.
Well, judging by Flash's Goliath count, which is very, very low, I think he has no idea. He scanned while it was still just one Stargate with no tech next to it, and I think he scouted that there was a Templar Archives, so, and he scanned the Templar Archives, so Bisu totally faking Flash out. He hasn't made any Templar Archives units, and is just making carriers, and I think Flash has no idea. Yeah, he's got like 4 or 5 Goliaths at the last count, so and it's 3 Stargate carriers, and I think they're going to be +2 weapons upgraded by the time they come out. Okay, so we are seeing for the first time some High Templar to get some storms, but yeah, only 3 Goliaths? Did I overestimate it at 5? And that pylon at the 12 o'clock, the way I understand this map, yeah, nice. The way I understand this map is that if Bisu would be taking a 5th, it would be at the 6 o'clock. I think that pylon was to block Flash from taking that 12 o'clock and to stop and to scout dropships, and it served its purpose valiantly and utterly effectively. So the only hope that Flash had kind of in this game was going in with those dropships and seeing the carriers and doing some harassment, but he did neither of those things. Although I think he's scouted it now because his Goliath count is kind of getting a lot higher, and he's making another command center. But here comes a huge engagement, and Flash is probably going to win this because Bisu does not have his carrier support, which he's been sinking about half of his economy into. So yeah, losing all of his zealots and backing off with his dragoons and not losing any dragoons, so that at least that's good. But here come the carriers. Oh, what? He's attacking his own nexus. That has a purpose. Yeah, that has a purpose, and I forgot about it. Can you tell me?
They get the interceptors out, so that way when you start engaging the interceptors, they aren't flying out one by one. You've already got everything that you've built out, so that way you can do a little bit of damage a little bit faster. But it just doesn't look like he has the interceptor count. That's really like they're clicking on some of the carriers. It looks like most of them only have like 1 or 2 interceptors in there. He has no choice. Bisu's just gonna have to wait 30 seconds or so, build up some interceptors before he can engage. And actually, part of that engagement that was huge was that shuttle getting picked up. Flash actually microing that battle very, very effectively. Used all his Goliath, picked off that shuttle that had the storms in it, so that didn't even end up coming into play. A bunch of turrets picking off a couple observers there. But yeah, these carriers are gonna need to get their interceptor count up. And it looks like Bisu's going for a little bit of a backdoor here. We'll see if this is effective. It looks like Bisu's probably gonna lose his third base, might even lose his natural. So could we actually be seeing Flash get back into this game? This would be a shocker and a half if Flash can actually win this game after coming back from such a deficit. And it looks like he actually has a chance. If both bases go down for Bisu, he'll be operating off of his main, the bottom left, and perhaps the 12 o'clock. And it looks like even the bottom left could be under threat here. So Flash really taking this to Bisu right now, finding that gap in Bisu's strategy, which is when the carriers have not yet arrived and hit full-fledged, and really doing as well as he can right now. It looks like Bisu's trying to get in there with his carriers, with those interceptors, trying to pick off what he can, but just doesn't have enough support units yet. DTs have hit the field as well for Bisu. They're going to try and establish some map control, take out some of these wandering units that Flash has, but it looks like this backdoor attempt has failed, so Bisu actually kind of in a little bit of trouble here. He's going to need another round of carriers, I think, before he can really start playing really strong, but perhaps these DTs are enough. Look at that, the ride of the DT is able to push back that push. I'm actually kind of surprised that a straight DT push there was actually able to push back that push is, well, I'm just saying push a lot now, was able to stop that push as well as it did.
Yeah, Bisu hitting the panic button for Protoss, which, as we all know, is the K button to make some Dark Templars. And I think Bisu's has kind of been undone by his own hubris. Not to do a complete commentating 180, but Flash pushed out at the perfect time, and I think he's more well upgraded than Bisu really expected or scouted or noticed. So there is a decent carrier force, but Flash has been really good with the Goliaths. I think he scouted that about 1 or 2 rounds of production before he pushed out, scouted that there were carriers. I think actually just 1 round before he pushed out. So he made all Goliaths that round and said, oh, there's only 0 carriers now. There's only going to be 3 carriers by the time I'm in there. I have a time to win this game, and it's now. And the question is, did he do enough damage to win this game? And I think that he might have. The carrier's trying to do some counter damage now, but that huge depot wall that you mentioned earlier, doing so well. Just Bisu tried to do a base trade, tried to do a counterattack, and that depot wall slowed him down so much that Flash was able to get enough reinforcements out to defend against the counterattack. Really great play by Flash, and I have to say, it seems to me like it's some hubris by Bisu to go for carriers, be like, oh, I've got this game in my pocket, I've got this game won, I'm going to humiliate you with carriers. Not really humiliation tactic, because, you know, obviously carriers are really powerful and really viable, but Bisu does not go for them that often. I think he meant it in a more hurtful way, and it looks like Flash is going to have the last laugh. Flash in amazing position here. Bisu mining only off of 1 base, whereas Flash still has 2, so this is looking pretty bad for Bisu.
Yeah, I'm kind of stunned right now watching this, and if you're a Bisu fanboy, you've got to be absolutely stunned as well. Basically, Flash handicapped himself significantly and still is in a really good spot, and Bisu really does starting to look like he might lose this game. I mean, he does have a lot of carriers, and as we know, once carrier numbers grow, they become almost Imba strong. But is that enough? Is there enough yet? No. There's GG from Bisu, and I'm kind of sitting here watching and shock. Bisu lost, and I don't even know what to say. I'm utterly shocked that Bisu allowed that to happen and gave Flash such a huge window to destroy him, and Flash just took it. Flash took what small opening Bisu gave him.
Yeah. As Artosa says, when you're ahead, get more ahead, and then to add on to that, don't try to humiliate your opponent with carriers. Flash just playing standard and playing from behind really, really well.
Alright, so that's that from Monte Cristo. We'll have Flash going on to the winner's match to play Jaedong. There we go, another Flash versus Jaedong. And Bisu going on to the elimination match to play C. So next up will be Flash and Jaedong on the winner's match. I will see you guys all there with Feroche.